Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make: when to start taking Social Security. Now, you've probably heard the conventional wisdom, but what if I told you it might not be the smartest play for you?
Okay, so let's just get this out of the way. You've heard it a million times, right? The advice is always wait. Wait as long as you can, hold out till you're 70 to get the absolute biggest monthly check. And, on the surface, that makes sense. Who doesn't want more money?
But, and this is a huge but, here's where things get super interesting. Despite that advice being everywhere, look at what people actually do. A whopping 64% of Americans start taking their benefits before they even hit their full retirement age. That's almost two-thirds of people doing the exact opposite of what the experts tell them to do. So that creates this massive disconnect, right? Are all these folks just making a huge mistake? Or do they know something that the simple wait till 70 advice completely misses? That is the big question we're going to dig into today.
All right, let's just tackle this head on. We're going to poke some holes in the myth that waiting to file is always the best financial move for everybody. Because let's be real, life is way more complicated than what you can fit on a simple spreadsheet.
So the whole wait longer argument really boils down to this one thing: the break-even calculation. It's basically the math that tries to figure out what's better, getting smaller checks for a lot more years or bigger checks for fewer years. Let's take a look at how that actually works. Okay, now check this out, because this is where that standard advice really starts to wobble. Let's use a pretty typical example. If you live to the average life expectancy, around 78, waiting until you're 70 means you actually end up with less total money in your pocket than if you'd started at 62 or 67. Kind of surprising, right? And this really shows you the gamble you're making. If you file at 62, you are ahead of the game in terms of total cash received, all the way until you're 76 years old compared to waiting until 67. And you stay ahead until you're 81 compared to waiting until 70. Those bigger checks only start to pay off if you live past those specific ages. So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's that this whole thing is just a simple gamble on how long you're going to live. The break-even math totally ignores all the real-life stuff that should be part of your decision, like your health, your family, your tax situation, your actual life. So let's get into those real-life factors. We're going to go through 7 reality checks, 7 really solid reasons why filing early isn't just some last resort, but can actually be the smartest financial move you can make. We're going to cover all the bases here, from unlocking benefits for your spouse and smart tax plays to making sure you can fund your best retirement years. Let's get to it. First up, a big one: spousal benefits. Now here's a rule that so many people don't know. Your spouse can't claim their spousal benefit until you start claiming yours. So look at this chart. Say your spouse's own benefit is only $400, but they could get $800 as a spousal benefit. Well, they're completely locked out of that extra money until you pull the trigger. So by waiting, you're not just delaying your money, you're delaying theirs too. Second, let's have a frank conversation about health. Remember those break-even ages we saw, 76 and 81? Well, if you look at your family history or your own health and think that making it to your early 80s is maybe a bit of a long shot, then waiting becomes a much riskier financial bet. This isn't about being gloomy. It's just about being realistic with the information you have right now. Okay, reason number 3 is all about taxes. A lot of folks don't realize this, but your Social Security might not even be taxable. It all comes down to what's called your provisional income. Basically, if all your income added up is below a certain amount, like 32 grand for a married couple, your benefits could be completely tax-free. And this is where timing becomes absolutely critical. If you file at 62, when maybe your other income is lower, your Social Security check could be entirely tax-free. But if you wait till 70, when you might have to take big withdrawals from your 401k, that bigger benefit could suddenly be 85% taxable. You see how a smaller, tax-free check could actually be worth more than a larger taxable one? Reason number 4 is a really cool strategy. I like to call it the bridge. Here's how it works. The spouse who earned less over their career files at 62 just to get some income flowing into the household. Then, down the road, when the higher-earning spouse files for their big benefit, the first spouse automatically gets bumped up to the larger spousal benefit. It's truly the best of both worlds. You get money now and a bigger payout later. And that flows right into our 5th reason:
The survivor strategy. This one is so important. When one spouse passes away, the survivor gets to keep the larger of the two Social Security checks. So a smart play is for the lower earning spouse to claim early, while the higher earning spouse waits till 70 to max out their benefit. This creates the biggest possible safety net for whichever one of you lives longer.
Reason 6 is all about quality of life. Think about retirement in 3 stages, right? You've got the go-go years when you're healthy and active, then the slow-go years, and finally the no-go years. Well, filing early puts money in your hands during those go-go years when you have the energy and health to actually travel, pick up that hobby, and really enjoy the money. So you see, when it comes down to it, this decision isn't just about math and break-even points. It's a much bigger question about the kind of life you actually want to live. So when you start to factor all these things in, the whole debate just changes. It stops being about who can win the math problem and starts being about your family's security, your tax bill, and honestly, the quality of your retirement years. I think this quote just puts it perfectly. The whole point isn't to win some contest for delaying gratification the longest. The point is to use this money that you've earned your whole life as a tool to build the retirement you've actually been dreaming about. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Are you chasing a bigger number on a piece of paper, or are you chasing a better life? Because answering that, truly answering it, could be the key to unlocking the retirement you'll really truly deserve.